Can you hear me, Anjal?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic.
Good evening, Gayathri ma'am and all my SLT members. Nice to see you all.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Reshna ma'am.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening to everybody.
Good evening, Reshna ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Deshna ma'am, Anil sir, and Gayatri ma'am. So, myself, Akshay Meher, I'll be anchoring the section for today.
Good evening, Aksha.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Asa. Please do it.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Good evening, Anil sir, Gayathri ma'am. Gayathri ma'am, I think you are busy with the actual workers.
Yes, ma'am. A lot of C20 work is there, and a whole bunch of things are going on with the ATL thing. So
When
it's,
will be the date for uploading the things for ATL?
the deadline is 31st of this month, so March 30.
Oh, extended.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your help in mentoring the kids. It's
Okay. I can't do more on that. I met them only once.
no problem, ma'am. Any direction you give is a good thing. So,
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Gayatri.
good evening, ma'am. Warm good evening. Good evening, Subish sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Professor Subish and
Good
Dr.
evening.
Ishta Babu, ma'am.
Good evening.
Today,
Good evening, sir.
HerQuest
Ishta
has
ma'am
also
and
a
Subish
function
sir.
right at 8 o'clock.
Good evening, everyone. So we'll be waiting for a few more minutes, so let others can join, and we'll be beginning by sharp 8:05.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. To the student team, next time, please send a reminder some 30 minutes before the meeting. Okay. To both in the professional lexicon as well as in the student lexicon groups. That is very important. Is that in addition to our emails, this has to be there. I insisted so many times. So please take care of it. Next time, please send reminder texts in both the groups. ECCs, please take care. Electronic communication coordinators, as well as Akshay and Sajin, please.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's get the section started. Greetings all. Hope you all had a good and productive day. Let's begin by wishing you all a very happy International Women's Day. The day celebrates the story of liberation and progress towards equal rights. The United Nations theme for this year's International Women's Day is Digital or Digit for All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, which is intended to overcome the persistent gender gap in digital access which keeps women from unlocking technology's full potential and overcome the underrepresentation of women in STEM education and related career fields to ensure their participation in tech design and governance. May this Women's Day brings you all the love, happiness, and success you deserve. With that being said, let me welcome you all to the very first episode of IEEE Education Society Kerala Chapter's Expert Talk series, HerQuest. So, to get the ball rolling and to have an auspicious beginning to our section, I would like to invite Professor Reshna S., Review Team Lead, IEEE Education Society Kerala Chapter for the welcome address. Over to you, Madam.
Good evening, all. Today, March 8th, it's designated as the International Women's Day. Women's contribution to society, the economy, culture, and politics are honored on this day. Moreover, it highlights the continuous struggle for gender and equality. The topic for International Women's Day in 2023 is Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. It's an opportunity to reflect on the progress made towards the gender equality, as well as the work still needed to ensure that women have equal opportunities and rights in all areas of life. Today, we have with us Professor Dr. Gayathri Manikutty, Professor at Amrita Institute, Karunapalli, who is the STEM and HRC coordinator of IEEE EdSoc Kerala Chapter and Vice Chair of IEEE Site, and many more positions she held. She is an apt person to give HerQuest, and she has dedicated her life for research and science and technology. I welcome you, ma'am, for this function.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for the warm and kind words.
Here we have Lisha, ma'am, Vice Chair of IEEE EdSoc, Anil sir, Secretary of IEEE EdSoc, Subish sir, and many other dignitaries. And I welcome each one of you to this webinar. I invite everyone who is present here in this meeting for attending a talk on with Gayathri Manikutty. And I welcome each one of you to this meeting. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Gayathri ma'am, now the stage is yours.
Sure. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I consider it my highest privilege to be accorded this honor to speak on the occasion of International Women's Day. I particularly find it very important because I strongly believe in not only gender equality, but more on gender equity. And I think that is the goal that we should all be striving for. And today, I will be sharing a little bit about my perspective and my journey with IEEE. I'll start by having a short presentation in which I would like to have or start this session with a little bit of a dialogue. So allow me to share my screen. So I will begin with this question. Why is volunteering important to you? Again, the question is, why is volunteering important to you? I would like to stop sharing the screen and I would like to invite everybody to share your thoughts on this. Why is volunteering important to you? Would anyone like to share their thoughts? Anything?
Shall I start?
Sure, sir.
Actually, volunteering, it's an immense opportunity to work and grow with a professional organization like IEEE, and you can now keep pace with the state of that technology, and we can meet people from different areas, different regions. We can understand different cultures. Uh, so, in fact, with all this exposure given to an individual, he gets himself exposed to now. I mean, he gets uplifted to greater heights, and his personality increases tremendously. That's what I believe, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very beautifully put. Would anyone else like to share their thoughts on why volunteering is important to you?
I'm Suvish here.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion, being human first is more important than anything else. So it is like be human first, in our case, engineer next. So this humanitarian activities in terms of volunteering will definitely help us not only to see technology in a very fruitful way, but also what are the real world problems which is facing around us and how we can come out with some solution to rectify those. And there are a lot of such humanitarian problems around us which is still need to be solved, and we can do so many things to address it. So whatever the technology is or how much the technology has enhanced over the years, I think we should first focus on the humanitarian aspect. For that, again, be human first and engineer next. That is what I believe. So for that cause, we all should volunteer. That is my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Very, very beautiful thoughts. Wonderful. So we heard from Anil sir, we heard from Subish sir. I would like to invite one of the students. Would one of the student members like to come forward and answer the question, why is volunteering important for you? And let me assure you, this has something to do with what I'm going to talk. So I just want your perspective, what you have to say on this. Any of the students would like to come forward?
Ma'am, shall I?
Sure, Akshay, go ahead.
Ma'am, so to me, volunteering is important because it has given me a lot of opportunities to improve myself, be it in terms of technical skills, be it in terms of soft skills. But I think the biggest benefit I gained from being a part of IEEE or volunteering in general is learning how to be independent, because it has taught me how to travel alone. It has taught me how to interact with people, and so I think that is what I have. That is the biggest benefit which I gained from volunteering, and that is why volunteering is important to me.
Thank you, Akshay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your beautiful thoughts. So let me share my screen again to continue what I wanted to present. Okay. So I tried to base this on some research work, prior research work on volunteering and beneficence. Beneficence is simply put as the act of being able to give something, not just keep taking, but the act of giving. And why I am having this, why I'm prefacing the actual talk with this particular thing is because this is what gives meaning to the volunteering work that I have had the privilege of by being in IEEE. So research says that beneficence, the sense of being able to give, actually increases the happiness, right? It is whenever you do an act of kindness, whenever you do anything for anybody, even let it be something as simple as just opening the door or just saying a good, kind word to somebody, it changes your mood. It changes you, right? So it is not just that it is affecting somebody else, but it impacts you personally. The other thing about beneficence, which again research has shown, is helping others reduces our stress, our anxiety level. We tend to engage in more pro-social behaviors. That is, we tend to engage in more and more activities where we try to reach out to others, right? And we also find ways where we can cope with the stresses in our own life, right? So the third thing is that it improves physical health, right? It lowers the blood pressure, it improves your immune system, right? And the impact of reducing stress, the impact of being able to work on some project, which is something you're really passionate on, puts you in a better mental state. And this mental state contributes to your physical health as well. And finally, it also gives you a sense of purpose. So as Subir sir said, it makes what is the meaning of being a human, right? It is the sense, why are we not an animal in this earth? Or why are we not a stone? Or why are we not something else? Why are we a human? That sense of purpose comes from the acts of beneficence, the sense of being able to give. And when we do these acts of beneficence through volunteering activities, especially through IEEE, we find greater meaning and greater joy in everything that we are trying to achieve. It also gives us a sense of connectedness. We in EdSoc feel that we are all together and connected, not just because we are part of a society, but because volunteering gives us this ability to be able to work together, to collaborate on something. It gives us an opportunity to know each other. I have had the fortune to have some excellent mentors and mentees, right? I have had Qasim sir, who brought me into IEEE Kerala section when I started my volunteering journey with Kerala section in 2021. I have had Mini Ma'am, who has supported me in all the activities that I have done in IEEE, both by personally being involved in the activities and also participating and encouraging me in every step of the way. I have had Subir sir work with me in research where we together could mentor students. All this, the sense of connectedness, right? I can say that for each one of the members that we have, not only in EdSoc, but in IEEE Kerala section, where I was able to develop that personal connection, that sense of connectedness, which gave me the joy to volunteer, to want to dedicate whatever I'm doing in a more engaged manner. The final reason for the sense of purpose, I will also say, is I feel that It is the duty of all of us to be compassionate. We have only one earth, this pale blue dot in this vast universe. If we don't be compassionate to each other, we don't learn to use technology for the benefit of humanity, which is the very purpose of IEEE, then we don't have another place to go. We don't have another planet. We inherited this earth from our predecessors, and it is our duty, our act of compassion calls us to leave it for the generations to come. Right? All this gives me, and I'm sure it gives all of you also, a sense of purpose. All this is what research has proved time and again. And I would say that these are the reasons which drives my volunteering at IEEE. When I look at particularly at the acts of beneficence in my volunteering efforts at IEEE, volunteering has helped me be more social, right? More connected, to be able to reach out, to know people I did not know before, and to learn, to grow in many ways. It has boosted my self-esteem in many different ways. It's not like I was lacking in self-esteem, but I wouldn't say that I can confidently say I know everything in engineering. Engineering is an ocean. Knowledge is an ocean. We have to be humble in every aspect of our life to say that what we know is just a microscopic knowledge in this vast ocean. So in order to be able to do things that I never thought, like for example, go to a community of tribal people and be able to talk in Malayalam. It may seem like a simple task for you, but for me, I am not a native Malayalam speaker. I learned Malayalam from teaching young children. I would tell them, I'll teach you technology, you teach me Malayalam, right? That's what I used to say. Now, to be able to go into the world, to be able to talk in Malayalam with confidence, to know, is something I learned simply because of my volunteering activities in IEEE. In Amrita, I had the privilege to work with people with whom I would do more of an academic conversation, and most of my conversations were in English. And in Amrita, I would also venture into villages of India, in Tamil Nadu and in northern India, because I know Hindi, I studied Hindi, and my native language is Tamil. So it was easy for me to engage with communities where I was more comfortable with. IEEE put me in situations where I was not comfortable with. I was not sure whether I'm going to be understood and whether I'm going to understand. So it helped me boost my self-esteem. It helped me advance my career in many ways, because I believe that I have gained a lot more visibility as an engineer in the community of professionals in Kerala because of my association with IEEE. And I feel that each one of you can say the same thing about your volunteering activities. So we had Subish sir, we had Anil sir, we had Akshay talking about how much IEEE has benefited. And in the very same ways, it has benefited me. In my career as a faculty at Amrita, I am now known as a person who is a liaison between Amrita and IEEE Kerala section. I am known as the connection who can work with IEEE in a more collaborative manner, right? So I feel that IEEE has made me more confident, especially, in Malayalam. IEEE has made me more confident as an engineer, putting me to work in interdisciplinary fields. IEEE has made me more visible both within my own organization and in the larger professional community. And as I started this, the very acts of beneficence that I get to do as a part of IEEE has helped me be more healthy, helped me be more mentally strong. And I'm not saying this as a joke. I will tell you a personal story that I was not very comfortable sharing very openly. I joined IEEE in 2021 because Qasim sir called me in February and asked me whether I would like to be part of IEEE. Believe it or not, 2020, the year when the pandemic struck, was a very, very challenging year for me personally. I went through a lot of health issues, and I was not totally motivated. I was not totally, in the sense, I really was struggling with myself. In February, I had to undergo a surgery, and at that time is when my husband was diagnosed with cancer. It was something that was very hard for me to take. I was not in a good frame of mind myself because of my health issues. And on top of that, to have to say that my husband had 4th stage cancer wasn't a very pleasant and a welcoming news. And can you believe it that at that month in February is when Qasim sir calls me and says, "Do you want to join IEEE?" I was like, "Sir, I do not know. I am not in a space where I really want to do something. I don't even know how to manage myself right now. I'm not sure I'm ready for it." And sir said, "Try, just try." These years from 2021 to now, I tell you, it has made me so much more stronger. It has given me the opportunity to look beyond myself, to not think about my problems, my health, my family, but to be able to see, okay, what are others' problems, others' family. At Amrita, we have a visionary humanitarian, Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, who talks and encourages to give, to keep giving to people. It is one thing to hear it, one thing to try to understand it intellectually. It is completely a different thing to put it into practice, to be able to take it into your life and say, when you are at your lowest point in your life, I am going to give. I am going to get up and fight, right? And that is what IEEE gave me an opportunity for, because for one, I did not say this to anybody. So nobody knew what was happening to me. But the fact that nobody knew was a good thing, because everybody motivated me to give my best. And I didn't want to say that I'm not going to do that. It helped me fight. So I say IEEE helped me stay healthy. And I really mean it when I say it, right? It helped me overcome my own, instead of getting into depression and getting into lower moods, it helped me look at life in a much broader way, to be able to put the words that I've heard from my chancellor into practice, and to be able to come stronger and to be able to do things that I did not think I'll be able to do it. Now, I will share a few projects of IEEE that I had the privilege to be part of. Not really because I think that I had the qualification to really be part of it, but I would say that I had the opportunity to be part of it. Right? And my only qualification to be part of these projects was like, I will do it. I will do it because it is something in the service of humanity and it is an opportunity I'm getting. The first project, I will say, which helped me and reinforced me to think that volunteering with IEEE is not about just changing yourself, but it can help you change this world. Is this conviction I got was from this first project called Lumen, that is Lights for Uplifting Mankind, Environment, and Nature. This is a project that was conceived, I think, by Abhinav, or at least it was led by Abhinav, and that was the first time I had ever met Abhinav. It was an EPICS funded project, and the aim of that project was to install a solar off-grid system powering street lights. There were 10 street lights that had to be put. It was to be done in Avoli Gram Panchayat in Muvatupuzha in Kochi. So this is a project. When this was suggested, Abhinav was asking for volunteers. I had no idea about solar off-grid system. I had no technical knowledge. I will say that I am a computer engineer. I am a VLSI engineer. I learned to make chips. I was really good at it. I have made, and I have a lot of pride in the kind of work I did when I was at Intel. And when I came to India, I got an opportunity to be in academia. But even then, I worked in the domain that was close to VLSI, in embedded systems, robotics, IoT. That is the domain I stayed. I didn't venture out. My BTech degree was in electrical engineering, but that was in 1995. I don't remember much about what I have studied in my BTech. Right after my BTech, my master's degree was in computer engineering, and all my work and everything after that was in ECE, that is VLSI domain. So electrical engineering was just a memory. Renewable energy, solar energy, these are some things I had studied a little bit when I was still a student. It definitely was not in the technology space where it is. How can I do a project where you're taking something and actually implementing it? So I told Abhinav, I'll be very frank with you, I cannot contribute to this project technically. Rather, I will learn from you. Abhinav is way younger to me, much more junior to me, but he is so wise and he is so knowledgeable in this particular area that he took it up to teach me just like all the other students. So I learned in order to erect a street light, you have to erect a pole. In the pole, you have to erect a metal angle joint. And in that angle joint, you are installing the street lamp, right? You see, whenever you see a street light, there is always a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle so that the light is shining down. So we had to learn how to cut metal. I had never used a metal cutting tool before. You had to know how to weld. I had done soldering, but never welding. I had actual welding. Right? I knew painting. I had painted walls, but what it takes to apply a primer and do weatherproofing in such a way that the metal doesn't get rusted. And that too, when you're standing on a ladder, that really is, what shall I say, balanced against this pole, which has just been cemented and it's 1 day old. So the cement is set, but still, it is an experience. It is something you learn to think, you learn to be bold, because some of the times where the poles were erected, what you see around is there is a ditch. And then the thought comes, what if this leg slips? What if I go down? And then I say, let it happen. There are people here who have all the safety precautions. People here know how to take care of things, and things have been designed in a very careful manner. It is my fear that I have to get over with, and not about how things have to be done. I learned to use a pickaxe. That is who you see here in this picture is Sharath. Sharath was my mentor here. He showed me how to break a cement road with pickaxe. I also saw the students soldering and making a battery pack. And in 2 days' time, from nothing in the village in Muatupura, we as a team installed 10 street lights completely from scratch. The sheer thrill of this experiential learning STEM project with IEEE students was, I tell you, something I will never forget. It was an exhilarating thing that when the time came for the lights to turn on, and the lights were turned on, every single one of them lit. Means there was no mistake in the project. There was nothing that went wrong. Everything was successful. Of course, it was because Abhinav knew how to do a project like that. I'm not taking any credit on this, but still, the act of doing this together, the willingness to learn, the willingness to be with the students 20 years younger to me, and to be trying to do all kinds of acts of jugglery, like as if I am not near 50, but I am like a 25-year-old kid or a 25-year-old student, is not what I had envisaged when I had joined IEEE. So to me, in 2022, when I got to be a part of this project, it was an amazing experience to be able to do something that was impacting the community, and at the same time, I learned a lot. The other project that I would like to talk about is something that I got to implement in Kochi. So this was a 10-day IoT and an app development training program. The idea of STEAM for social good was not really the training, but really to conduct a 2-day makeathon for school children. Because makeathon and hackathons are something that are usually conducted for college students, right? We see that very often in colleges. But how many of us have heard of school children doing makeathons? Do they even know? Can they even do something like that? So in order to prepare them for that was the 10-day training program. So this was something that was funded by IEEE Pre-University STEM team, and we did this in Amrita Vidyalayam, Edapalli, in September 3rd, between September 3rd to 18th, for students between the grades 6 to 9. Now, how do you teach somebody how to participate in a makeathon? This was something that while I work with students, now I'm an academic faculty and I teach, but coming to the level of little kids and to be able to give them confidence that you can give them a problem statement that they can solve in 2 days and create a working prototype was not something I knew. I had done a program like this before in Bangalore earlier, but that was with a team I had very closely worked with, and I knew how the team would execute. We had a plan and we executed. Here, it was a new team. I didn't know the student volunteers who would going to be working with me. We were all going to join and pitch together and try this. So we tried something. So this is the entire group of all of us in this Team for Social Good program. And I'm really thankful to all the leaders in IEEE who really encouraged and motivated me, starting with Verghese sir, who was very, very, very appreciative of taking such a program to the school students level. Right? And anytime, anything ever I thought cannot be done is a challenge for me. That is how I take it. And the motivation and the confidence the leaders had, never ever was there a doubt in any of the IEEE senior team whether we can do a makeathon. It was always about what can we do better. So this kind of support is very rare to get. This kind of confidence. Nobody is a naysayer here. Nobody doubts you. Nobody says, but if, what if, right? Nobody is the doubting Thomas. And this kind of a team, when you have, volunteering becomes a pure joy. And that's what I believe. So we started this STEAM for Social Good program by giving the children a problem statement. The problem statement we gave them was, to push them into the, deep ocean, as I call it. These kids that we got, 35 kids from some of the underprivileged schools in Kochi, they had never done an activity where they had done any kind of a problem solving, let alone a social problem solving. So we gave them a scenario. Imagine you're going on a trek in the forest, and these are the equipments that you have in your backpack. You have a handkerchief, you have some kind of a knife, a multi tool knife, you have some duct tape and a whole bunch of things. And there up in the tree, what you see is a mother eagle, a hawk, right, who has a broken wing. You want to be able to help this mother hawk. You want to design a solution so that you can take the mother hawk and her baby chicks safely to get some help so that they can survive. How will you design this solution? It was very interesting. I wasn't sure what the kids were going to come up with, whether even the chicks in their solutions might even survive. But it was amazing how they came up with the critical thinking, how the IEEE volunteers sat with them, and we did this exercise on, you can see one of these little pictures here. They came up with a step-by-step storyboard. What will they do first? And then what will they do? And then what will they do? And they came up with some really creative and innovative solutions. Like, how will you get the mother chick, mother eagle, which is on the top of a tree, down? They use their creative abilities of creating like some kind of a slide which we could use to get the chicks down. So this was their first attempt in problem solving. It may seem ridiculous, it may seem funny, but I will tell you, if I give you a constrained problem solving, and if you're not an engineer and you're not trained in this particular task, how many can really take an hour and come up with a problem, come up with a solution, right? It takes confidence. You need to build confidence. You need to know how to work with the team. These were some things these kids learned. And from then on, they were all sure that they can do this. They can do this workshop. They can do this makeathon. They very happily learned all the IoT, how to code. They learned different skills. And these were the SDG challenges they gave, what we gave them. And in 2 days, they had to come up with a prototype for this. So we gave them that you imagine that there is food wastage happening in city of Kochi, where there are restaurants where food is getting cooked, good food, but the children, the people are not able to finish eating. You need to find a technology-based solution where you will be able to take this food which is getting wasted and give it to places where people may not have enough food. They had to design this solution, right? And we gave them a hint that it could be a truck, but they were welcome to do. How will they use technology to build a truck from scratch? This was a robotic truck. They needed to build, they needed to code, they needed to show it as a working prototype. They had to build a temperature controlled cradle, right, in which newborn babies' health could be monitored. They had to come up with an unmanned marine vehicle, that UMVs, right? The marine vehicles which are unmanned that could collect pollutants like plastics that are floating in water. They need to come up with a automatic soap dispensing system that could dispense based on this. None of them knew anything about IoT. And yet in 2 days, so many teams, out of the 10 teams, 5 teams created working prototypes. They were able to do that in 2 days. IEEE showed it is possible. The third project is about another project. Again, I got the opportunity to work with Abhinav on. This is the domestic drinking reservoir with renewable energy, Baveli project. This project was in Meenkoli tribal village in Wayanad district. So this was done as a part of IEEE site. In 2021, I wasn't part of IEEE site in 2021. I was only part of EdSoc in 2021. In 2022 is when I joined IEEE site. In 2021, December, site had conducted a camp where they went to this village, Meenkoli village in Baveli. And Baveli is in the border of Karnataka and Kerala. And they sat down with the people to understand their problems. What are the challenges the people are facing in their village? Based on the problems the villagers identified, this project was designed. So again, this was a project based on renewable energy. And this time I was more confident about this project because of my Lumen experience. I had learned some things, but this project had another trick in it. It was not just a project where we had to install solar lamps. It was also a project where we had to install a submersible pump to draw water. Now, that was not something I knew about again. This was something new to me, but I know that IEEE engineers can do it. They have done it. And this time again, I'll show you glimpses of this project. So on day 1, the volunteers, all of us. So in all these projects, when I am a volunteer, there is no such a thing like I am a professional member, you are a student, or you are a professional member, I am a student. We are all one. We all pitch in together. All of us as students, there is so much to learn. We learned how to dig the right dimensions of AC and DC earthing. Dig to bury the earthing pipes. Start erecting what it takes to put these street lights. This time, instead of it being an underground street lighting like we had for the Lumen project, this was an overhead street lighting system. To learn to do concreting so that we can install the solar panels. How to build these water filters. This is something the student had learned from IRTC, which is in Palakkad. They work on different kinds of solutions for water purification. So the engineers from IRTC help the students learn the act of putting a water filter together with activated charcoal and other filtration material. The team learned how to install a water tank, how to do the plumbing. And in each of them, I also joined in my volunteering efforts. I joined in all these activities. I was not part of a team. I was part of all teams. So I did a little bit of all of this. We learned how to, provide reinforcement for a submersible water pump to actually be able to install it in a river, in an actual river, right? Then how to provide the fittings to a water tank so that you can store water in it and get water without any leaks. How to fit these plumbing, how to do the mounting of the solar panel, how to assemble the batteries, how to create your own pipes so that water taps, so that the water can come out of the water taps. How to install junction boxes so that you can run the wiring with minimum amount of length for the wires. And finally, selecting the site and installing it and commissioning the system. It was a lot of fun, lot of learning. And I think all these 3 projects that I've talked to you about today were all experiential learning STEM projects, hands-on STEM projects. All of this had a lot to learn. We learned about various aspects. Not only we learned to mentor and learned how to help children become more confident in their abilities to become future engineers. This is not like teaching where I am in a classroom, but to build their confidence and to build our own confidence, my own confidence, and the confidence of the IEEE volunteers, the student volunteers who are part of it. The student volunteers here are not like, I want to be an EdSoc volunteer, I want to be a site volunteer. We are IEEE volunteers. We come forward, we learn what is it we don't know, and we learn together. We learn to fail, and then we learn to stand up, and we learn to do all the activities together. I brought also these projects because these 3 projects, it's not like these are the only projects I've been involved in. There have been a lot more projects, starting with the first project that I got to be part of in EdSoc, which was the RSTEP project. It was a rural technical education program for school students again. I had the privilege to work with EdSoc student and professional volunteers and work with Subish sir on the research of that particular project. Why I brought only these 3 for what I wanted to talk and share with all of you is, in each of these projects, there was a special effort and an explicit effort made to involve girls in the program. And being Women's Day, I thought I should talk about this. There is a very beautiful program that Bindu ma'am has been leading in EdSoc for the last 2 years, where she has been focusing on women empowerment, especially for women who are not as a part of the mainstream education, who are housewives, who are generally not really the beneficiaries of any technical training programs. So on this Women's Day, I will want to make a pitch, particularly to the girls. Come forward to do such experiential learning projects. Don't think that you cannot. I also thought I don't know anything about renewable energy. I'm not saying that now I'm an expert in renewable energy, but I am definitely more knowledgeable. I know what it takes to do a project, and I do know how an IEEE team can come together and do this successfully. I have seen this, and these were all projects that were done in either 2 days or 3 days. Even the Makeathon was a 2-day Makeathon as such, even though we had to give some training to the children to prepare them. All these projects also had training. Both Lumen project and D2REB project had significant trainings prior to the actual execution of the project. But these are the beautiful experiential learning projects that I got to witness as a part of IEEE, where women were put in focus. Girls did all the tasks, right from digging to cutting, metal, welding, everything. Girls did hand in hand, shoulder in shoulder with the boys. And I want that going forward also, we keep up that same spirit, what we have in today, what we are remembering, that girls and boys, it is not about equality, it is about equity. It is about doing things, equal opportunity, where we even provide more opportunity to the girls to do those things which they normally do not do, and to be able to see for themselves that everything is possible. All you have to do is just try. So thank you for listening to me patiently. I hope it was worth your time, and happy to have any questions from you.
That was a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge to us. So before we get into the Q&A session, let's take a virtual photograph to capture this auspicious moment. So for that, I would like to request all of you to turn on your cameras and bring a beautiful smile to your face. And Mr. Ananda Krishnan will be doing the honor of clicking the picture for us. So everyone, please turn on your cameras.
Everyone smile. Okay.
Can we take the picture now?
Yeah.
Please everyone turn on your cameras.
I have clicked the picture.
Yes, so thank you, Ananda Krishnan. So we'll be posting the feedback form now. So for getting your certificate, please feel free to fill it out. Now let's move on to the Q&A section. So if you have any queries regarding the topic or you have anything general to ask ma'am, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put the queries in the chat box. I guess we have a few queries in the chat box.
Yeah. The first question, can I read it? Is that okay?
Yeah, ma'am,
Okay.
I can read it for you. So the first question is, what is the greatest challenge you faced in IEEE? By Abhirami VS.
I would say there was no challenge. In IEEE, there are no challenges, I think. IEEE, everything is an opportunity. And with the team of IEEE, I really didn't think we really had challenges. We had a great team, and anything that came along the way, there was somebody or the other with a solution. So I really don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. There was no challenge so far. I have not had a challenge, so to say. We had a lot of opportunities, and each of these opportunities, we had very wonderful team who pitched in at every point, and yeah, we did everything well. Maybe I should also say, if there should be a challenge, that is my own doubting Thomas up here. Sometimes I am not confident that this can be done, but I guess that, yeah. But really, I don't have I can't think of a challenge to, so to say. If I can move to the next question, is it okay? Can I?
Yeah, ma'am.
So the next question goes, ma'am, what was the best lesson that you learned from your volunteering activities? I think I talked about it. The best lesson I learned in IEEE is that IEEE is such a close-knit family. In IEEE, it is not about anybody's personal success. IEEE truly has volunteers who do it for the sake of giving and not for taking. And because of that, I learned what it is to practice to give, which is how I started this, which is my greatest lesson I've learned, the acts of beneficence, how to put it into practice. And it is not like I'm saying that I have never been doing anything, any acts of beneficence in my life, but to use technology and do these acts of beneficence for global impact, for a wide-reaching impact, is something I have learned only as a part of being in IEEE, because it has given me that opportunity to practice it, to go outside my domain of knowledge and to do it successfully. So that's the best lesson. It doesn't matter you don't know something. IEEE volunteers will support you, will upskill you. You can learn anything. You just have to have the open mind to say, I will give it a try.
So, ma'am, we have a question from Ajit, sir. So, it's what are the different types of learning?
So the learnings are in so many levels. There is technical learning, which I was mentioning to you. There is learning of concepts of what it takes to design a control system for a solar lighting, or what it takes to do about submersible pumps. These are all technical things that I've learned, but more than anything, what I have learned is the soft skills, right? The collaboration, how to communicate most effectively. These are all skills we already know and practice as professionals, which I have been doing earlier. But to be able to do it effectively, to continue to practice the act of converting anything that comes along your way as opportunities, to do it, have confidence in the team, to believe in students and their ability to be able to even deliver very challenging or technically challenging tasks in a very beautiful manner. So much to learn, to see how leadership, the support can really make a difference. A lot of this I experience in many ways, and it also gets reinforced through my activities in IEEE. So, I mean, the learnings are so many, and each time I think that each activity we do, if you have the openness, you will learn something from every activity. So I don't know whether I'm really, I have to make a comprehensive list, but in very broad way, a lot of soft skills and technical skills. These are the types of learning I can talk about.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes, Ananda Krishna.
Okay. You're a member of SITE and EdSoc, right? If you
Yes.
have the chance of being part of any other society, which will it be?
Wow, that's a tough one. I really, there was one society this year I joined, that is the Women in Engineering. So I'm very passionate about, that's why I consider it my privilege that I got an opportunity to talk today. I really believe in promoting girls and women in STEM. And I think we group is a fantastic group. I am not going to say that, if I feel many of the groups in IEEE are fantastic. I have a chance to be part of Kerala section ExCom meetings, and I meet senior leaders from different groups. So I find that, I would love to be part of many groups, but I have to also, keep my somewhat, what shall I say, my time volunteering. I can have some limits on that. So I feel very passionate about education. So I really treasure being a part of EdSoc. I believe in doing hands-on work in service of humanity. That's why I feel very strongly about SITE. And I also feel very strongly about but I don't mean to say I don't think others are important. I think many of the societies, I was part of RAS. I also think SSIT is important. I think so many societies are very important. It is just that, I'm not able to contribute meaningfully to so many. So I just limit to 2 or 3.
Hello, ma'am. I had a question for you. So, apart from being an exceptional IEEE volunteer, you are a teacher. So, ma'am, has your experience in IEEE influenced you as a teacher in any way? Like, be it the way you teach, be it the things you teach, or be it your attitudes towards students. So, has it influenced you as a teacher in any way?
Has IEEE influenced me as a teacher, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Like, have you used your experience here as maybe an eye opener or something? Yeah, sort of the same, ma'am. Like,
Yes, I am a teacher. First of all, I don't know. I think I am a student. I don't know how much of a teacher I am. I believe even when I teach, I learn as much from my students as much as I am able to teach. Learning and teaching is a lifelong process. And I always keep learning. There is always something that you know about about people, about culture, about working together. There is so much that as I said, what is learning and what is teaching, and where is the line between teaching and learning? I don't know. I think it is a mutual dialogue. It keeps happening. Sometimes in a classroom, in a formal classroom, we do have a teacher and a student, but I don't think learning is limited to a classroom. I think we learn every day, every minute, and we learn from our interactions. So when you said, how have I learned as a teacher in a classroom? I don't have an concrete example that I can give off the top of my head and say, that is something I learned in IEEE and that I taught to my students. But I would say that the dynamics of working with the students to do these, I had not yet done in my teaching. I had done many project-based courses with my students, but I had not gone with my students at Amrita to the field to implement a real-life project. That is something I did only as a part of IEEE. Did I learn or did I teach? I don't know. I think I learned. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe some of the senior volunteers here may have a better answer to give. But I think the students and what you have given me are, some things I have learned, and I hope to be able to keep learning and maybe employ it in a formal classroom as well. But I think I have learned more than I've taught.
Madam, I wanted to supplement your answer with some small art form. Like life, teaching is a continuing learning. Learning in continuum. So, I wish to quote Mahakavi Ullu. Yes, Parameshwaraya, it's a Malayalam poetry. I'm sorry whether you'll understand it or not properly. I'll just chant those two lines. പഠിക്കണം നാം ഓരോന്നും ബാല്യം തൊട്ടു നിരന്തരം പഠിത്തം മതിയാക്കിടാം പ്രാണൻ മേനി വിടുന്ന നാൾ, which means we should learn one by one things right from your birth till life or sattva goes from your body. That is till the end of your life. Thank you.
So beautifully answered. So maybe Akshay sir gave a better answer than me. So that's.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Anu sir. So we have another question from Subir sir. So the question goes like this. I think still there are students, especially girls here, who are reluctant to talk or come forward. What advice you can give them from your own experiences?
So it is all only in your mind. If you shake that thought and you just say, I will give it a try. That's all it needs. I'll give it a try. You can do it. You will see that reluctance is just, don't listen to your mind. Mind is a trickster. Mind tells you things you should not believe. You have to, maybe one thing you can do is to find a mentor. I would encourage all girls, all students, all boys, everybody. In fact, all professionals, I would encourage every single person to have a mentor. Talk to your mentor, create a relationship with your mentor, and your mentor will help you see through things. As I told you, when I started in 2021, if Qasim sir had not asked me, I wouldn't have ever thought I'll become an IEEE volunteer. It was not even something that crossed my mind. And his mentorship got me into IEEE and helped me learn so much. So it's your mind which keeps telling you can't, this can't, that can't, this won't, that won't. Just ask. I think, sir, I would only say ask our mind to shut up and just say, I will try. That's it. And that's all it takes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me give a few words of what I heard. Uh, I know Gayatri madam for last 1.5 years, I think, because right from the formation of HerQuest. So first of all, let me thank the organization of this meeting today. Call Gayatri ma'am for this wonderful talk, because knowing her experience is a wonderful thing. You heard her. So she's really a true woman leader who practices leadership by action, not by talk. There is a difference what you can see among many women. And also this Women's Day, I thank all women, all girls who participated in this session. See, joining IEEE, working with IEEE is, as she was telling, is a volunteering. But more than volunteering, you get an opportunity, a platform to act, to work, to learn, to contribute, to support the society, and to become a true woman leader in a shorter period of your college days itself, which will benefit you during your career, become a true leader. One advantage I think Gayatri had was she worked in industry, came to academy with a lot of practical exposure and experience. And more than that, she was a true humanitarian who wanted to support young kids, make them learn. Because when I see that the project she has done at Amrita Vidyalaya, the young kids, 6th standard to 9th standard, who are doing coding, who understand IoT, who are playing with the motors, I really wondered, having worked in industry for 44 years, I could never think young kids could bring to that level. That is the interaction she had. She had that much of a confidence. So this is what you have to learn from here. So I triply give you an opportunity to come forward, to work with, to learn, because this is the very potential area of all technologies are there. Because IEEE is the largest organization which formulates standards for engineering in the world. So there is nothing like that. Be part of IEEE, work for it, become a true leader. So associate with the women leaders like Gayatri will bring you really, really true leaders. And thank you again for having this session today. And it was to have been I'm sure for all of you, it was a wonderful experience. It was a wonderful experience for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your generous words. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Verghese sir. So, so if anyone has any doubts, please feel free to ask now. Lisha is asking some doubts.
No, I'm speaking about Gayatri's speech. It was very wonderful speech, and how the journey through IEEE, how she is that is also very wonderful and interesting, also motivating women's to take volunteering in IEEE. Thank you, Gayatri. Okay, nice.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So I hope all your queries has been answered. If that's the case, let's move on to the next section. Now, as a token of appreciation from our side, we would like to present Professor Gayathri Ma'am a virtual memento. For that, I would like to invite Ms. Anjal P. Dijo to share the screen and present with the virtual memento.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Anjal. So now let's move on to the vote of thanks. For that, let's welcome Engineer Varun Kumaram, Design and Publicity Lead of IEEE Education Society Kerala Chapter.
Thank you so much. Respected Chair, Vice Chair, Secretary, Executive members, student volunteers, and all other attendees of the webinar. It's indeed a great pleasure and an honor to deliver the thanks note on this auspicious occasion. On behalf of everyone present here, I would like to express our gratitude to Professor Gayathri Manikutty Madam for agreeing to share her volunteering experiences and the story and her story with the IEEE. Your passion, dedication, and commitment to service have been truly inspiring and have motivated us all to take up volunteering as a way to give back to the community. We appreciate the time and effort you took to share your experiences and knowledge with us, and we hope that this webinar will encourage more individuals to take up volunteering, especially the women community and the women volunteers, and contribute to the betterment of the society. Once again, we extend our sincere thanks to you, ma'am, for your valuable contribution to this webinar. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. And also, a special thanks to Ms. Rashna Madam for delivering a warm welcome address. I thank our beloved IEEE EdSoc Kerala Section Chair Varghese Sir, Vice Chair Lisha Ma'am, Secretary Anil Sir, and all other chairs and executive members for their valuable support and suggestions. I would like to thank all the IEEE EdSoc members and student members for being the best for this community. A special thanks to our Student Week coordinator, Ms. Anjal, for organizing this wonderful webinar. Thanks to our webinar host, Ms. Acha Meher, ECC Dia, and all the women volunteers for the efforts to make this webinar a grand success. If time is money, you have all spent a million for us. Thank you so much on behalf of IEEE EdSoc Kerala Chapter and myself for your valuable presence and support. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you all, and good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
With that, we have come to the end of our section. Hope you all had a great time. Once again, thank you all for actively participating in the event and joining the section. So don't forget to fill out the feedback form which is posted in the chat box. You have to fill it just once and your certificate will be distributed based on it. So don't forget to fill it out. So let's meet again next one with a new episode of HerQuest. Until then, bye and good night. You can all leave the meet now. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Good night.